I was in the hospital with nowhere to go next. That's a different kind of fear. Not the kind you feel in a moment, but the kind that sits in your chest and doesn't move. Because you know what's waiting if there's no plan. The streets. And I knew exactly where that road lead. So when the social worker came into my room, I didn't try to play it cool. I didn't try to act like I had it together. I told her the truth. I begged her, please put me in a drug and alcohol program. I wasn't asking for comfort. I wasn't asking for options. I was asking for a way out. Because I knew if I walked out of that hospital without something lined up, I was going right back into the same cycle. And this time, I wasn't sure I'd come back from it. And then something happened. Something I can only describe as a break in the pattern. The social worker came back, and there was a different energy in her voice. Almost excited. She told me there was a place I could go, a kind of transition space. Somewhere people stayed when they were in the hospital and their next step. Not the streets. Not chaos. A bridge. And for the first time in a while, I felt a little bit of relief. The place was an old Best Western that had been converted into housing. Not glamorous but stable, safe. Structured in a way that gave you just enough room to breathe. And somehow, I ended up in a large room. A suite, really. You could tell it had once been rented out as something more comfortable. Something meant for rest. And now, here I was, broken wrist, worn down, trying to piece things together again. I stayed there for about 3 weeks. Recovering. Physically, from the fall. But also from everything else. I started going to AA meetings online. Logging in, listening, sometimes speaking. Sometimes just sitting there trying to absorb anything that could help. But what I wasn't prepared for was the exhaustion. Not normal tired. This was something deeper. Like my entire system had been drained physically. Emotionally, mentally. It felt like I had taken my addiction further than I ever had before. And now my body and mind were trying to catch up. There were days I could barely move. Days where just existing felt like work. And the truth is, I didn't get it perfect. I didn't walk out of that place suddenly fixed. I didn't flip a switch and become sober overnight. I still slipped. There were days of sobriety, followed by nights where I picked the bottle back up. The same push and pull. The same tension between who I was and who I was trying to become. But something had changed. Even in those moments, I knew it wasn't the same anymore. Because I had crossed a line internally. I was done. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a speech or a declaration. Just a quiet, settled decision. I've had enough. As of now, November 9th, 2024, that was my last drink. But honestly, the date isn't the most important part. What matters is the decision behind it. I knew that continuing down the path I had been on only lead to one place. I had seen it, lived it, felt it, and I knew that going the opposite direction, choosing sobriety, choosing something different, meant one thing. A better life. Not an easier life, but a better one. And then, the next door opened. I got word that I had been accepted into another rehab program. Same place I had been to over a year before, but this time, things were different. The facility had moved. The staff had changed. It wasn't the same environment I remembered. And maybe that was a good thing. Because I wasn't the same person either. This time, I wasn't going in halfway. I wasn't testing it. I wasn't trying to negotiate with it. I was all in. Because I had reached that point people talk about, but you don't understand until you're there. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And this time, I wasn't just trying to survive the cycle. I was ready to break it.